Okay, folks, Alex Jones reporting here for Infowars.com with breaking news. Now, please take notes on what I'm about to cover, and please listen to me very, very, very carefully. As you know, a large element of SEAL Team 6 has reportedly been killed in a helicopter shoot-down of a Chinook in Afghanistan. A, quote, NATO helicopter shot down. 32 on board Navy SEALs from the super-secret SEAL Team 6 that carries out Black Ops. In fact, the numbers of SEAL Team 6 are actually much larger than what the public is told. That's why they chose that unit. Now, I am on record predicting that they would stage a helicopter shoot-down to claim that the SEAL Team 6 died in the helicopter or other aircraft crash or shoot down, to cover up the fact that Navy SEALs really died, and I'm on record saying this, that Navy SEALs really died in the admitted helicopter, stealth troop-carrying helicopter crash that happened in the Bin Laden raid. Remember, they admit a helicopter crashed. They said pilot error, running into a wall, but that nobody died. That already is hard to believe. Then, this is on record on the radio, I said that two different Army sources, because they're over the main operations, the Navy carried it out, but they're over that theater, the intel. The scuttlebutt was that indeed Navy SEALs did die when that helicopter crashed. Okay? And that they died. And that they didn't know whether they died from a crash. They know the helicopter crashed and burned, but they don't know if it was pilot error, A. B, Pakistani military, right down the road, a big military base, shot it down, that's B. Or C, what was reported on Pakistani television from multiple witnesses, that the SEALs got back on the helicopter and did indeed have somebody with them, and that it blew up right as it took off. Blew up. Didn't crash and blew up, blew up. And we're on record playing that Pakistani video, their national TV. We separately had another source. The two sources at Fort Hood and Fort Bragg are unknown to me. They've given us good intel in the past. I talked about on the radio even a month ago, Colonel Six, who's an officer who just got out of the military, who gave us great intel when he was in, that General McChrystal was going to be forced out for a scandal months before. He's proven good intel. He said, yes, SEALs did die in the crash, but no, it wasn't blown up. He disagreed with me on that. Okay, he said they did crash like you heard. The point here is that I am on record from three sources, one on the radio, two separate, all of which have given us good intel, that the helicopter crashed and they died. But they didn't want people looking at what really happened in that raid. And so one of the most famous ways that the Russians, the Israelis, the U.S. have all been caught doing it, you go back to Vietnam, they had an undeclared war from 60 to 64 before the Gulf of Tonkin. 4,000 U.S. troops died, and they would say, oh, they died in a plane crash, they died in a helicopter crash, they died in a accident in training. That's how they would tell the families that they had died. And so you know about those cases. They have a PBS special about the Russians in the Afghan war, saying they died in helicopter, plane crashes, car wrecks, training exercises, because they didn't want to admit that they were having that many losses and that it was a full-on war. So everybody's saying, oh, the terrorists knew that they were on board the helicopter and blew it up. Give me a break. Most of the military doesn't even know where the SEALs are going. Or they're saying, oh, Obama wanted to get rid of the SEALs who would talk about the fact that bin Laden really wasn't killed in the raid, so they knocked him off. That's not the intel we have, and we're on record. And where I need your help, listeners, and you've done this in the past over and over again, is that when we lay out these things, I'm not marking down notes of 15, 20 hours a week of radio that we do or more, and all the videos we do. We don't mark all this down. I know I've said it dozens and dozens of times. I know even a month ago, Colonel Six, I was talking about this, he called in and said, yeah, you're right, they died, but it wasn't blown up. I don't know, but we know that they're covering up. I even predicted it over and over again. So please find the YouTube clips, the audio clips, post them at the bottom of the Alex Jones channel so I can play them on the radio tomorrow so that mainline dumbbells who weren't listening like you were, they can find it. There's millions of you that watch and listen. So if some of you go and dig those out and find them, when I get home, Aaron's looking for them. You can type in, I know I got attacked for it, Alex Jones claims SEALs killed in bin Laden raid. I mean, I know that stuff's out there. My enemies are my best friend because they always hear what I say and think it's a lie and go and complain about it. But the issue here is that they could have killed the SEALs because they were talking. I'm not saying that couldn't have been what happened. And they could have died in a real shoot down. But statistically, out of all these SEALs teams, magically it's the SEALs team from the Bin Laden raid. I mean, give me a break. This just stinks to high heaven, especially when the military contacted me. 2 sources off air, 1 source on air, 3 sources total, and said this. What do you think about all this? What do you have to say about all this? Remember the Bin Laden raid, the fake Situation Room photo. Turns out Obama wasn't watching. They claimed that Bin Laden fought back. Didn't. They admit that was a lie. The Pakistanis saying, the neighbors saying, they went and got on the helicopter, some high-tech looking thing, which they admit did crash. It blew up. I mean, look at how it was all burned wreckage. You really believe nobody got hurt in that? Bottom line, they're covering up what really happened there. And so we've been lied to. The military needs to speak out. This needs to come out. I'm not sure what happened, but I know that we're being lied to. You're buried at sea, the timing of it, the way the PR was announced, the way they said they had video of it, then they said they didn't. And maybe a different part of SEAL Team 6 was killed there in the helicopter explosion. This is another group that was speaking out. I don't know. But this is very, very suspicious. I've talked to former members of Delta Force who said that they were ratted out when they tried to rescue the hostages because folks didn't want Jimmy Carter to look good. And so that he was set up and that they were sent in at the wrong time and a bunch of other stuff happened. It's time for you SEALs and Delta Force people and others to start speaking out. I know people in the military know what really happened. And keeping your mouth shut for treason is just that. It's treason. Silence isn't golden. It's yellow. The truth needs to come out on this. We know the official Bin Laden story is a fraud, and they may wipe out even more of the SEALs trying to keep you quiet, like Pat Tillman, who was going to talk about the opium being produced in Afghanistan, which they now admit. Okay, and we know they covered up the fact that they killed him, and that later came out. This is serious, serious business. Watch the special reports at Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.com, and I'll see you back live on the radio tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central. And if you don't have a local AM or FM, you can listen to the streams at Infowars.com and back Monday, 11 a.m., and we'll continue to cover this. I'll have more reports out today as soon as I get back to my home office. I may even go into the actual office to start covering this. This is so big.